Yes, I'm Rosalind, you already know that. Yes, I describe myself now as, oh, it's not on here, as a personal empowerment guide. It's new to you, Sophia, as well. Sophia and I are good buddies. Because I'm ready to step into that. I'm ready to step into what I've longed to be all my life, which is somebody who can help others empower themselves. And I put that very precisely, because there's no such thing as somebody empowering you. It's all about finding it within. And I've taken a long time to get here. I'm 48. And yeah, it's been quite a roller coaster of a life. But as I look back on it today, I love every single dip and peak and rise and fall. I do love it deeply. And you'll understand better why when we get to nearer the end of my presentation. I'm very excited to be here. I'm incredibly nervous because I'm way out of my comfort zone. As you can probably hear in my wavering voice. I am way out of my comfort zone because I really never believed that I would get to this point in my life where I could share what I care about most, which is seeing the people on this planet and my fellow beautiful sisters and my brothers, because I'm going to do one of these for men only. In all their glory, in all your glory, for goodness sake. But I needed to do it for myself first. So I can't sort of stand up here and speak to you about glory without finding my own. But I have to say at this point that I'm still journeying in that direction. But I have got to a point in my life where the grass isn't greener on the other side anymore. And it's taken me some time to get here. So cool to have you here, Annie. Wait. Sorry, So, that's me in a kind of nutshell here. A little bit of my life experiences might come up as we go through. So yeah, I'm going to take the stage. My beautiful husband is here, sitting in a beanbag in the corner. I know this is most meant to be just women only, but I needed him here, both for technical support and enormous moral support. He has been, well, my rock. You're my rock, babe. Thank you. I may cry, by the way. So just erase that on film. Today's topic is about, she looks like she's dreaming, doesn't she? How many of you dream in this room? How many of you dream of more than what you already have? How many of you are really happy with what you've got now? Yeah. I'm a bit of both. I have days when I think, oh my God, this is amazing, and I have days when I think this is not so amazing. I won't use that word. Do you know what I mean? And today's topic, thank you Annie for choosing this incredible topic, how to attract what you want in your life. And I've been thinking about this. You know, everybody's talking about it. I don't know if you know Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote the Conversation with God books. He's one of my heroes. He's talking about it. He's been talking about it for a long time, actually. Mind Valley, some of you may know Mind Valley, run by Vishen Lakhiani. It's an organization that brings the most wonderful teachers in personal development, spiritual teachers, together for you to access online, actually. It's like you can do it from your own home, super cool. They're all talking about this as well, so it's the trending topic. And I've been thinking, like, you know, why? Why are we all still wanting more? Can't we just be happy with what we've got? Yeah. And I have to say that I think we've got to a point in society, humanity, if you like, where whilst we do have a lot, I mean, we have a lot, don't we? We have so much, but there's an urge for more. There's a niggling feeling inside me, I don't know if you can associate with this, that there's more glory available. Not just here in us, but out there as well, but maybe they're the same, yeah? Maybe they're the same. I know that's a fact for me, because it just gotta be. I'm actually creating that fact for myself, here and now. That I am today just tapping into the beginning of a whole lot more glory. Because I want that for myself. Because I know that Rosalind Marie Anderson Ghani has come a long way. She's taken a long time to do it, but anyway. I have come a long way. But there's still so much more available to me. There's still so much more depth in my relationships with you, my beautiful love, with my beautiful friends, all of you, with myself. And I want that. I want it. Here and now. Call me spoiled. So it is a great topic. And I stuck my neck out. And I said to Joey, when I heard that this was a topic for the next WEWorld gathering, I was like, oh, I can talk about that. And immediately I get a text back saying, awesome, great. I was like, oh shit, she said yes. Better going back now, yeah? And since that was about a month ago, Joey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I have had quite a journey, actually. I have been able to do nothing other than focus on this presentation. First and foremost, for me. First and foremost, for me. In that good kind of selfish way, you get me? But that good kind of selfish way wants it for you so much. Yeah. So I hope that you can journey with me, because I'm going to take you on a journey. I'm a very emotional being, I can't help it. I'm going to take you on an emotional journey, and I'm going to take you on a journey inward. Because that's what I'm all about. Then we can just step out and be in our glory, yeah? So, that's what my life looked like for a long time. No, it's not tea time or anything like that. Even though I'm English and I like my cup of tea. I like it full, actually, thank you very much. With more milk, no sugar, steaming hot. That half-empty cup of tea ain't no good anymore for me. It just ain't no good anymore. It's been like that all my life. And I'm admitting it to you, my beautiful Sophia, because I've been hiding this away for so long. Even though I have the most glorious husband I could possibly ask for and a beautiful daughter. And I'm just sort of like bimbling along. But, you know, I spend a lot of time sort of hiding within my four walls. I'll change that. I spent a lot of time hiding between four walls. Somebody like me, I mean, I'm not bad looking. No. I can speak. I have qualifications. I was born into a family with enough money for us to be very comfortable, actually. I love my parents, thank you. And yet, it started when I was in my teens. There's been this kind of void. And I'm grateful for it now, would you believe it? But it was painful. It's been a painful ride. And I wonder whether other people have experienced that void. It comes from that niggling feeling that there's got to be more in life than this. You know, I had jobs, I had boyfriends, I had a little bit of cash, not a whole lot. I have less now, actually. You know, I had friends, I partied, I lived in Paris, Barcelona, London. You'd think, what more do you want, you know? And yet, I wanted more. But I didn't know that I wanted more in those days. I just had this awful feeling inside me of anguish and loneliness, acute, but I didn't know what to do with it. Eventually I found my path, which took me into healing, and it's taken me a long time. But now that I am 48, I can look back on moments in my life where I took certain decisions that brought me great gifts. I'm able to connect the dots a bit better now. I'm still a work in progress. I'm not a guru on how to attract what you want into your life. But I will be your guinea pig today. I'm willing to be your guinea pig because whilst I see all these incredible speakers standing up there, Mind Valley, all these speakers, and they motivate me and they inspire me so much and they're so glorious. They are in their glory. I don't yet feel like I'm one of them. But I want to be. I'm going for that. But I'm happy to stand up as a guinea pig because it just may give others permission to just come along with me, you know, instead of thinking, oh God, she's there, she's got her millions, she's done it all, got the video and the t-shirt. Oh my God, that's so intimidating. It's been very intimidating to me. Although it's motivational during the time when you listen to them, you know, then you get up the following morning and the fear starts to creep in and it's like, I'm not sure I can do that actually, you know. So I'm here today, way out of my comfort zone. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable actually. I'm doing a better job than I thought already. Yay! No promises, no guarantees, no guarantees. I'm not guaranteeing a thing today. I'm just literally here in the moment of now. Anyway, so the aim is, I haven't got a picture of a full steaming hot cup of tea, but I'll have one later, yeah? The aim is to maybe not fill that cup completely, because for me there's no end to my evolution. There's no end to my glory. That is my birthright. I have given myself that birthright. But I do have a half full cup of tea today, thanks to you girls, because I need you. I needed an audience to be out of my comfort zone. I couldn't, you know, I would be quite comfortable on my sofa. So I do this all the time, talking to Terry. Right? My heels. But standing in front of you all, you know, is like heartbeat and stuff. So, yeah. I look at that and I think, peeling back the layers. I've done a lot of that, you know. I've done a lot of that. And how the grass was always greener on the other side. Until I started to come into the realization that I'm making this happen. I am making this happen. Nobody else is. Nobody else is choosing for me. And if you are, show yourself because I can't see you. Nobody else is doing this for me. And the realization has set in fairly recently, I sort of admit, that I am the creator of my life. And if I look at the detail of it, I really am. I'm taking each and every one of those choices. Yeah. I'm thinking each and every one of those thoughts. Yeah. I'm acting upon them, or not, depending on the collywobbles. Yeah. So, how many people identify with creating your own reality? How many people feel at this point in their lives that you are actually in command? That you are actually the one making your lives the way they are? Can you just show me your hands if you feel like you're there? Great, we're on the same page, I love it, thank you. Cool, otherwise I might as well go home now. There's always room for improvement, so I reassure myself I can stay. Good. So, I know some of you knew this was coming. Attracting what you want into your life is a very natural thing. It's what we do absolutely naturally, yeah? And a lot of people talk about the law of attraction. How many of you have heard of the law of attraction? Yeah, pretty much most of you, yeah. So can I ask you, what do you think it is? Does anybody want to share their ideas on what they think the law of attraction is? Let's just have a little interchange here. I'd like this to be as interactive as possible. Just, there's no right or wrong, and that is a very important point I want to make right here and right now. There is what you believe in and what others believe in, and that's it. So please share what you believe the law of attraction to be, if you wish, if you have any ideas. It's beautiful.
Yes, Munira again, yeah. Let me share something about my own experience, the law of attraction. I didn't have a boyfriend, have a little rough idea what I want in life. And there goes Atik Philip advertisement. I love the watch, you know, I love it. So I peeled the page, pasted in my office cabinet where I store all my files. There's a picture of a man and a sun. The man is handsome, sun and the water. You know what? I end up marrying a divorcee with a son, and I got a watch. I find that very funny because I placed it there and I got it.
Don't you just love that? Thank you, darling. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to share their idea, their version, their belief? Yes.
Well, I didn't cut anything or paste anything, but I'm very good visualizing.
Yes.
Whatever that I believe I visualize, it will happen in my life. And I have read book how to do visualization, but I think I feel blessed in the sense it comes easily. Like the shot that I would like to create, the room that I would like to design, I just have to see it here. I believe it's going to happen. I don't know how the money, how things are going to happen, but I will see it quite soon. Yeah, I think that's the law of attraction for me. I believe it, I see it, and I know it will happen.
That's beautiful. There you go. I'm out of a job, see you later. Well, I had to sort of like peel away the layers. This is what I do. I dig. I'm a digger. I should have put that down. That's just my 3 words. I'm a digger. I like to get to the source of things. So I pondered on this, and the reason why I've chosen a photo with a magnet is because it was an easy way for me to understand the law of attraction. I put the magnet inside of myself. It's like having a magnet inside you that's drawing all these experiences into your life, all these circumstances, all these people, all these relationships, you know. And I thought, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But what's inside that magnet? Was the next question. This is actually me journeying as I prepared this presentation for you. Like I said, I like to dig. What's inside a magnet? You know, step by step, that's how I work. So let's get a little bit closer to this. Let's do a little bit of self-analysis. I forgot to do one thing. I was going to share out some notebooks and some pencils. Would you like to have a go and just have a little self-reflection? And if you like, write it down on paper? Here. Why don't you give half one side and half the other? And let's get inside the magnet. I wanted to go inside the magnet, yeah? And have a think about whether you're wearing your true colors and whether you're attracting the right kind of bees and enough of them to create what you want in your life, yeah? The ultimate creators, yeah? Born and bred to pollinate. It's a bit like us, really. Maybe we're more glamorous. So have a think about your own ability to attract what you want into your lives. And see, let's be honest with ourselves here. This is like, you know, exposure. I'm exposing myself today, so please do the same. Where do you put yourselves on the scale of 1 to 5? I've thought about this, and I'm not right up there at 5, even though I'm standing here today. I'm not that guru. I think I rate myself on a good day. They happen at 3.5, and on a bad day, maybe 2 or 1. They happen, those bad days. I do have them. But you know what? I am so confident that after today, I'm going to have less of them, and they won't be so bad when I do have them. I'll tell you why later. So have a ponder. Put down a figure. It's not set in stone and it might change tomorrow. But how you feel right now about your ability to create your life as you want it to be, to attract what you want into your lives. And once you've done that, let's be positive about this for now. In what areas of your life are you attracting what you want? So maybe just like think about it, you know, in the workplace, in your health, in your relationships, finance. Don't remember that one. I get 1 for that one actually. But I intend to be very rich, so I'm not worried. So have a think. Anyone want to share an area in their lives that they feel really rock on about? Feel really magnetic? Attracting what you want? And next, of course, in what areas of your life could you become more attracted to what you want in your life?
For me, it's just, when I think about something that gets me passionate, then it just comes to me. I'm passionate about it.
Yes.
And I see the end result. It's not the process, like, I run an art camp. It's not the art course that actually gets me excited, it's the exhibition at the end. It's like, I got so much about the exhibition, and I got so excited about it that it just drove me to do the advertising for it.
Love it. Passion. Passion is a beautiful term. I love it. And you totally are. That's how I describe you. Passionate. Me too. All right. Cool. This is some just moments of self-reflection. There'll be more. I'm taking on a journey. I may be here for a while. Grace, welcome, beautiful son. I'm so happy to have you here. I will be here for a little while, so we will take a break here. Just sort of like show me signs. If I need a drink, or I need a, or whatever, just let me know, because I'm going with the flow here, but I will be up for a little while, because when I did this presentation, there's so much digging to do. There was digging until I got to what I needed to get to, and I needed to give this to you. Yeah? So there is a journey, yeah? We're only just beginning. So, how can you become more attractive to what you want? I've chosen this photo. It's a bit pixely, but I wanted to get to the core. I wanted to get right inside those beautiful flowers that you are. To know what it is. What's at the heart of your magnet? Would anybody like to hazard a guess? What is inside that magnet? Go on. Feel the magnet inside yourself. This is what I had to do, because I had no idea what I was going to talk about. Joey doesn't know that I made all the mistakes in the book with regards to this topic. I'm telling you now. But I've learned from them. And I look inward for the answers. Now, what's at the heart of your magnet? Michelle? Babe? You know. I love it because it gets you thinking. And this is where we start to dig. This is where we're starting to go inward on our journey. And I'm loving it. Desire. Imagine yourselves with no desire, with no wanting, with no longing. Where on earth would we be without desire? It's a natural driving force. It is the force of law of attraction. It is the law of attraction. The desire that we carry within us. Yeah. I asked myself these questions as I made this presentation for you. I went on this journey and I've had some amazing breakthroughs. Yeah. I've had a really good friend with me all the way. I'll tell you who that is later on. So the question begs. Come on, let's dig a bit more. I am such a digger. I need one of the caterpillar, one of those cat. I should bring black again.
For the men's group.
Yeah, they're on totally. And Doc Martens or something. What is desire, somebody? Anybody? What is desire? I love it. Just simple, keep it simple. This is not like, there's no right or wrong. And it's what it is for you that I care about. It's what it is for me. You're seeing what it is for me here. But please remember where you are and what it is for you all through this journey. I'm taking you through steps and on a journey that has worked for me. But I cannot stress enough how important it is for you to make that journey work for you. So some of the things I will say may resonate. Some of them may not. Good. Desire is wanting, isn't it? In my case, longing to do what I am doing today. Can you Abraham Hicks. Who knows Abraham Hicks? Joey? The Neil Donald Walshes of this world, yeah? I have looked and gone, oh my God, I wish I could just have the confidence to do what they do. To stand up and bare my soul. But I actually, you know, I'm kind of doing it now. Even not sort of like all the way there. Welcome, come on in, please. The stools, there's floor space. I have a full house, isn't that cool? I love it. You know, one of my biggest fears was actually like nobody would turn up. Like, that's horrible. That's a real in the gut, horrible feeling. And look at that, thank you so much. So what is desire? Yes, we can put a stool here. I'm not going to get that close. Yes, you can. There's one here. Okay, I hope you have time because this will take some time. What is desire? So it's one thing, isn't it? It's that drive that we have in our cause to go out and get what we want, to fulfill ourselves, to fulfill our lives. Obviously. I'm telling you, it's caterpillar stuff. Where does it come from, though? Where does it come from, La? Huh? Let's have a think. I want you to spend some time. Because I had to think, I had to ask myself this question. And the beauty of it was, of course, that I got the answer. So please do the same. Because that's an important part of the process, actually. To ask yourselves these questions. Whatever questions you have, ask yourself. I had this question. Anybody want to share their versions of where they think desire comes from? Where does desire come from? This is where we get deep. And this is me. This is me. That's where it is. So I'm taking you on a journey. Because this was the missing link for most of us. It was my missing link. But I found a way, I think, of getting there. It's my way. It's not your way. But some of it may work for you. And then you add and take away and shape it and color it how you want it to be. How it works for you. How it drives you. How it fires up your desire. This is a visualization board. I don't know if any of you have done these before. It's a kind of classic exercise that people do in order to create what they want in their lives. They, like you said, you did it actually. You took a picture out of a magazine and stuck it there. This is the same thing, only she did the full spectrum. I don't know whose this is. This is from the internet.
But in my defense, I didn't expect the man and the sun to arrive.
Isn't that the beauty of it there? Isn't that just the most beautiful bit of it all?
It's not a mistake, but yeah.
It's not a mistake. That's where the magic is, in my eyes. That's how I see it. Do you know what you want? This girl does. She has a fair idea. But it's something worth thinking about if you still have areas in your life where you are not attracting what you want. Or where you may have what you want, but you're not yet feeling it, you're not yet connected to it, you're not yet enjoying it or loving it as much as you feel like you could. Relationships. So something to think about. There are many people, and I was one of them, who don't know what they want. Who are still a bit blurry-eyed about, God, what do I want? I was was a bit of a jack of all trades. I could do a few things. I kept thinking, well, you know, I could do this. Do I want to be a teacher? Do I want to be an interpreter because I speak a few languages? Do I want to do this? The wanting, the real fire, was more like, no, I just want freedom and glory for myself. I want all the big stuff, the big things, the big feelings, the big sensations. I want to feel at peace. I want that feeling of peace, of self-fulfillment. So think about what you want. If not now, maybe I invite you to do this at home, your own digging, yeah? I'm inviting you to dig. We're all going to be wearing caterpillar t-shirts. We'll be a caterpillar team, yeah? So some people don't know what they want. You attract the right things when you have a sense of who you are. I found this on the internet. Oh God, put it in! Because it just encapsulates what I'm saying and where I'm going. You know, some of us, we're attracting things into our lives all the time, aren't we? But some of them are like, hey, what are you doing in my life? Well, I don't know, I didn't invite you in. But you're here. What's that all about? Maybe it's because we're still a bit not quite sure who we really are. I mean, sometimes, Annie, you asked us, you know, who are you? It's like, oh God, who am I? Rosalind? A woman? I don't know. A soul in a body? That's all I can get, really. I don't know. I'm a lot of things, actually. And so are we all. Yeah. But what exactly? And that's it, isn't it? It's getting to that fine-tuning. It's getting into that space where you are so at home. You're so in yourself. You're so aware. Can you see me? You're so aware that you are clear, that you do know, and that you are attracting. And you are glorifying, not sort of like beyond its natural essence, but exactly as it is, what you're receiving. You're receiving the glory of it. That's where I'm heading in my life. I'm done with sort of like the mechanics of life and sort of like, you know, I have a wonderful husband, Danny. Can I use you as an example? I love you so much, but there are times when I can't bloody feel it. To tell you the truth. I can see it, I know it in my head, but I want more of that feeling, you know? Not just in my marriage to you. It's coming, I promise you. Don't give up on me. It's coming. And that's actually why I'm standing here today. Because I had to do this for myself. Because there's no more hiding in those four walls anymore. There's no more, oh God, he can do them, she can do them, they can do it, but I don't know whether I can. No more. It's over. So I'm feeling better, actually. I mean, my heart's not so boo anymore. So I'm feeling better. So this is where we start our journey. This is where there's a bit of homework to do. Getting connected. Are you willing to journey with me to get connected? The truth is that we are. We are never not connected. You know this, Michelle. But sometimes, a lot of the time in my case, I lost that sense of connection. And I had no idea how to regain it. I've had therapy, I've done all the workshops, I've read all the books, I've listened to Abraham Hicks and I'm blue in the face. I've done it all! But there was stuff that I needed to do for myself. And it was really the key thing for me was to get into that abyss of fear and know that I'm going to be all right when I come out the other side. Actually, not just all right, a whole lot better, a whole lot stronger, braver, more powerful, and all of those gorgeous things. Yeah? So let's get connected and let's attract what we really want into our lives. There are various steps that I have mapped out for you. These are the steps that I have taken. Please, again, know that they are what I did on my journey. You are such unique, beautiful individuals, all of you. And it's really important. What we're doing now is we're getting a sense of who we are. Yeah? So don't take me as gospel. I'm only gospel for me. I'm only my own guru, man. I'm not anybody else's guru. I don't want to be, actually. As a personal empowerment guide, I cannot be. Because true power comes from within. Yeah. So, that's where we're headed. And I've put a couple of layers there to keep it simple, because I have a load of layers, but I just thought two is enough. So some of us may be hovering around here, you know, a little bit fuzzy, a little bit far away from who we are. Some of us in some areas of our lives, and some of us may be right in there, in other areas of our lives. Or we may be here in all areas of our lives. Only you know, yeah? It's what we did earlier, rating ourselves and knowing which areas of our life we are doing well in and which we're not. So that's where we're going, yeah? We're going to the core. And there are various steps that I have outlined. These are practical steps, and this is what I've shied away from for so long. You know? I wanted to just fall into my lap. I did all the meditating, I read the books, like I said, you know. Come on man, I'm as spiritual can be. Give it to me, baby. What did I get? Not a whole lot. I got some ideas. I edged forward bit by bit. I took a long time to get where I am today, but there's no need. There really is no need. Intention and outcome, yeah? I'll be going into more detail about this later on in a moment. But these are the steps that I have taken that have given me enormous freedom, a huge sense of self-value, masses of potential, loads of potential. It's almost like sort of like, you know, not there yet, but I feel like I'm getting into my godliness. You know, everybody talks about goddesses and God. I thought it was all a load of, you know what, for a long time, but you know, it is in us. I'm going for God, I'm going for goddess. And I want to experience that in my life, and I want to see that in the people around me. I need that, actually. So what I'm doing is I'm calling you, and if this works and the video is filming me well, a lot of people to step up into a much higher level of consciousness and awareness of the self, so that we can be in that glorious place and very comfortable with it. Because I'm done with denying it. I've done it for a long time. I'm done with denying it. Beliefs is a big one. Wait for it. Of course, thank you, Annie. You gave me this one. You gave it to me, and I'll go into detail later on. But it's been an absolute key, and it's why I'm here today. Thank you, beautiful soul. I love you so much. And the dreaded. You gotta get up and do it. So it's a very simple map. There's a lot more that you can do, of course, but these are practical steps that have worked for me, and that I have a sense will work for a lot of people. So let's start with intention. What is intention, anybody? Anybody want to share ideas on what intention is? I had to puzzle over this one, actually, even though I speak the Queen's English. It's like, get out the dictionary. Although I didn't with this one, I made it up. I used my own inner dictionary. Who can give me a version, your understanding of intention? Actually, I did look it up in the dictionary. It got all highfalutin and ridiculous. I didn't understand what it said. So that was it. It went into Latin style. I was like, oh. Intention. Do you see her? I love this picture. I chose it on purpose. When I found it, I was like, yes, bingo. And it is. It's bingo, isn't it? There she is. Feel the desire. Yeah. Intention and desire are so closely linked. Yeah. When your fire is burning inside you, when your desire is a light, yeah, and strong, and you know what it is, yeah, you can aim it at something. You can manifest it. You can make it real for yourself. It doesn't have to be wanting all the time. You can then step into the experiencing of the joy of having it. Yeah. Desire is a great feeling. I mean, hey, it's wonderful in all camps. But we want to manifest it, don't we? You know, there's no point having desire and going around like I did for so long. It weighs on you after a while. Because you've got to fulfill it. You've got to manifest it. And the intention is hooking the desire into its outcome and knowing that you're going to get it right on target. The intention is what brings the desire and the outcome together. It's your willpower. It's your willpower. How willing are you to fulfill that desire? Or could it be shelved for another day? Could I brush my desire under a carpet for another year or another decade? Trust me, I know how painful that feels because I've done it. And it's not really worth it. I love this picture because it maps it out for you. When you have a clear outcome and a strong intention, strong willpower, magic does kind of happen. It kind of just unfolds, like you said, Lyra, you know. They just turned up, like you're saying, Michelle. It is a kind of magic, you know. It's really quite beautiful and it can happen effortlessly. So how strong is your willpower? Good question to ask oneself. How strong is my willpower? Am I a bit wishy-washy? You know, do I really want this in the first place? Oh my God. Am I too scared to get up and do it? Oh, next year. Oh, I got busy next year. No, sorry, it was the year. No. This I love, this one. Get clear and get focused like you did. You can use the visualization boards or you can use your beautiful imagination. I'm very visual as well. I've got all these pictures and images in my head. The imagination, I was told by a beautiful soul who may be here today, he's in the spirit world actually, and he was, during my years of therapy, I was in therapy for 10 years in London. I had a beautiful Native American healer, and she had a spirit guide with her when I was in session with her. His name is Feathercloud. I laughed at myself because he knows me inside and out and all the blood and guts, and he's seen me, you know, a total wreck. But he told me that the imagination is a great tool, and I had no idea then what he really meant. And I probably am still scratching around at the surface because we're evolving, aren't we? We're still just, you know, there's so much more available to us. But yes, use your imaginations. I have such a vivid picture of the house I want to live in. And it comes from my desire to feel at home with myself. My desire to feel fulfilled. You know that lovely feeling when you go home in the evening, you've done a really good day's work, you can sit down, for me it's by the fire, yes Annie, you know, on a lovely sort of beautiful, in a beautiful landscape somewhere, and my family are nearby, and the dogs and the cats, I mean, that's me, yeah, I can see the house and what it looks like. But it's more for me about the feeling. I'm at peace with myself, because I've given myself what I need. I've fulfilled my desires. Not fulfilling your desires is a source of great depression, and I was depressed for many years. Yeah. So I finally got the answer. I didn't take Prozac or, you know, but I did a lot of therapy. I had to clear some crap out of the way, excuse my language. But there are more direct and faster track ways of doing this, I believe. Manage your expectations. I was inspired by Neil Donald Walsh to put this up. He talks about it a lot, and in his recent book as well, which I haven't read yet, but I know what he's going to say. You know, I have quite high expectations, I have to say. But I've given myself a great gift, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later on, which is why I can enjoy having high expectations, because I'm just going for it now. But there is there is an expectation level that works for you, and you have to work that out. But it's very important not to go, oh, well, I'm not capable of doing that, so I'm going to, you know, expect not that much of myself in whatever area. Oh, I'm not capable of earning, you know, whatever, you know, £1 million, dollars, really, whatever, per whatever, a month, year. So I'll just give myself, you know, a few thousand. Don't do yourself the injustice of underestimating yourself, but also manage it so that you feel comfortable. You know, and it speaks for itself. And this one I've struggled with a bit as well, but not anymore. Not anymore. And you'll understand better this one a bit later on. But when we really trust in ourselves, I'm actually beyond that now. In fact, I would change that now. I'd say, I know. I know that myself will give it to me. I just know. You've probably heard people say, well, if you can imagine it, then you can make it real. Actually, it was perfect. The meditation was perfect, really, because it said so much of what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm just mapping the way to get to that. Because meditations are great, but then, you go home after meditation and go, I've worked during 5 minutes of meditation, but now what, So, it does happen. It does happen, but we have to get out of the way. And there are ways of getting out of the way, which we're going to look at in a minute. And let it go. My mum told me this. I'm quoting my mum. Years ago, she said, Kitty, I was Kitty in those days. In fact, I'm still Kitty in the family. Rosalind is my new name. She said, it'll happen, Kit, when you least expect it. And she was kind of right, actually. It's about that. It's about letting it go. And that's the beauty of it, because it comes as a surprise. It comes as something like, yay! Because you see, your state of being is a huge communication outward to the universe. If your state of being is, oh God, I gotta have it, I gotta have it, I gotta have it, you're in the state of being of, I gotta have it, I gotta have it. You're not in the state of being of, I have it. You get me? It is a form of communication. Your beingness is just like my words are, just like my body language is. Your beingness is the ultimate form of communication. The ultimate. So make sure you're giving off the right messages. Yeah. I want is I want. I have is I have. I'll try is I'll try. Yeah. When people say, oh, I'll try and come, I know they're not going to come. Because they're just trying. Bit of a giveaway. So, how strong is your willpower? Are you willing? Are you willing? And are you ready for the next one? There we are, right in the middle. We're getting closer, we're getting closer. Intention and outcome happen quite naturally when you are burning with desire. When you know your desire and you allow yourself to desire it fully, it will unfold quite naturally. But it's nice to have an image, so use your imaginations as that beautiful tool to create. Let me know when you need a break, just say, oh, okay, there's a pause button. I'll let you know when there is a chance for a break here, if you like, that's suitable, and then if you like, we'll take it. If not, just keep going. I had no idea about the kind of beliefs I have going through my system, had for some of them, until I read the most powerful book I've ever read in my life, which I will recommend. I can give you the name of it. I'll do it now, but I can also remind you later. It's called The Nature of Personal Reality. It's a book that was channeled from Seth, who is in the spirit world. It's a sort of expanded consciousness, you could say, by a woman called Jane Roberts. It was written in 1972. That's depressing. But as I read it, I was experiencing in my body, my God, my God. It's basically a dictation. She speaks, she channels. Thank you, Grace. You recommended this to me. It was coming my way already. I was attracting it into my life through my intention to experience freedom. One of my deepest core desires is freedom. Freedom of the prison that I put myself in. Freedom from blindness and deafness. Because there was a time not that long ago when I started to think, well, what if I'm a bit blind, actually, even though my eyes can see biologically, what if I am actually a bit blind and a bit deaf and even a bit numb? Yeah. What if I'm not what I call fully alive? And it was a bit depressing because I kind of knew that I wasn't. So This is where you can deal with this and peel away what doesn't belong to you. Beliefs can cloud your vision. They can also give you great clarity and great freedom. But many of them can cloud your vision. My whole life is built on beliefs. That book woke me up to how blind I have been and how it gave me a clear image of my prison. I was like, oh my God, right, scrap that belief, scrap that belief. Lots of beliefs can get in the way. Yeah. It changes your perspective on life, quite literally. And that's how I was. I have been here a lot. And it's horrid. Because it ain't being really human. It's not what I call fully alive. It's not what I call fully present. But it was because of my belief systems, partly, a lot to do with my belief systems. And the core belief that I had was, I don't believe, even just recently, until this is why I'm standing here today. You've heard me say this probably this morning or yesterday. Darling, do I have anything of real value to share with these beautiful women? They're high achievers, look at them, they're gorgeous, they've got husbands and wives, they've all got, they've got what they want in their lives. What have I got to bring to their tables? And I was still wavering on. I don't believe in myself. But I gave myself a gift. I gave myself a gift. For my birthday, actually, when I turned 48. It was brewing. There was a lead up to it. It was this urge, and thank God for the urge. It's a magnet. Thank God for the desire. It was this urge, this need to experience my freedom, and my intention to experience my freedom, that got me to give myself something which I'm going to keep for the rest of my life. It's the best gift I've ever given myself so far. And that is unlimited potential. So that makes my cup of tea back up there on the first slide, half full. And always half full. It's not like something, oh God, that's a tall order, you're never going to get there. No, I'm not going to get there ever. Great. That's why it's not a tall order. It just gives me freedom. And the other one I gave myself was, I believe in myself. And I've had to repeat that to myself time and time again as I've been preparing this presentation for you girls. I hope that what I'm sharing with you today can help you fine-tune yourselves even more. And I hope that you will go home today with an understanding that there's so much more glory available to us. Because that's what I'm going for. That's why I'm here. I'm standing here for glory. I want my glory back up there. Shush, woman. Hey, who's seen Doctor Strange? Huh? Yes. I love the quote. The quote in Doctor Strange, which is actually behind this, which is, you are looking at the world through a keyhole. And I was like, bingo, that's why I came to this movie. Yeah, that's why I was there. Oh yeah, okay, I got it. Blinkers, that's what I was saying to you earlier, how blind I have felt, I was saying to a friend of ours who we had round the other day, I said, imagine, I won't mention any names, imagine that you are blind. And he's like looking at me going, what is she talking about? Just imagine that maybe, even though you can see with your eyes, you are actually still a bit blind. And deaf. And I kept going, oh my God, I'm not enjoying this dinner party. The dictionary says this: an acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists. That is powerful. That is a belief. You can understand now how much power a belief carries. So be aware of your beliefs and get rid of the ones that don't work for you. There is work to be done here. There is self-awareness, there's mindful thinking, there's tuning in. I'm doing it as we speak. I am removing them because I don't want them anymore. They have been my prison for way too long. And this is where it is. In Seth, he describes it beautifully in The Nature of Personal Reality, he describes it beautifully. He goes into enormous detail. It's not an easy book to read. I'm warning you now. It's not like, oh, done, 5 days later. It took me 3 months to read it, and I had to reread and reread and reread. But just to give you a brief insight into how we make our reality, how we create our reality from our beliefs. Our beliefs govern our thoughts. What we believe in, we will be thinking. Our thoughts govern our truths. So what we think, we will believe is true. And our truths, we act and react and behave from our truths. And we create our reality from our truths. That's in a tiny little synopsis. Go read the book. It'll give you horrific detail, but necessary. I needed to hear. I needed to read the blood and guts of belief because it's been my prison. So I'm shedding a lot of beliefs, and I'm replacing them. I'm actually choosing, and this is actually something that my healer, my Native American healer, told me years ago that she was aiming for as well. No beliefs. How do you do that? I don't know if I can do that, but I can do, I believe in myself, unlimited potential. Yeah. So I'll give you an example of a limiting belief, or does anybody want to give me, rather, an example of a limiting belief? Something that you believe in, that as you pay it a little bit of attention, you're realizing, well, actually, that don't work for me. Oh, goddamn, it don't work for me. What about, could be as simple as things like food. I believe that this is good for me, and this isn't good for me. I did this with gluten recently. A friend of mine came into my life who's anti-gluten everything. In fact, she's no grains. And I was like, oh my God, what a great idea, I'm gonna get healthy. Yeah, let's do it. I believe gluten is really bad for you. Oh my God, what a horrible time I had. And my poor husband went through hell, worse than me. He's like, what's happening to my wife? Do you know what it means to believe that gluten is bad for you? And now you're going to say to me, well, hang on a minute, Rosalind. When I have gluten, I get bloated. But what I learned from the Seth book is that reality does not prove the fact. We create it. That's how powerful we are. And I'm still trying to get it, yeah? It's so massive, that I can't believe my own glory. Yeah, you hear me? You hear my belief? I should change that right here and now. I believe in my own glory. I'm going to try that one. Yeah. So there was no more croissant. That was it. Croissant. I lived in Paris for 5 years. I had croissant. I dunked it into my coffee every morning in those cafes with my friends. Yeah. No more croissant. Gluten. Sorry. Bad for you. I believe it's bad for you. Not much fun. No pasta, for God's sake. Horrible. I love my pasta. So that, when I read the Seth book, out the window, baby. But what I want to say here and now is that underlying that belief was a very deep, core belief that I was unaware of. I was unconsciously believing that my body isn't powerful enough to cope with a bit of flour or maybe a bit of toxin in foods. And the scientists are going to hate me for this. When I go global, everybody, watch it. They're not going to like it. Because when we come into our power, we can have whatever we want. I now believe that I can just enjoy food, and that when I enjoy it, it's good for me. That there's great pleasure in all the beautiful food and beautiful cooking, pasta, croissant, noodles, fish balls, whatever. Because I'm enjoying it and it's giving me pleasure, and that's a life force in its own right. There's a lot of other limiting beliefs. Who would like to share a limiting belief that they're just sort of like becoming aware of now? Or, maybe there's a belief about men. I love you, darling. I think I had one actually. You know, imagine, for example, you know, it's a classic. I believe that I'm going to get hurt by men. I believe that I can't be in an intimate relationship with a man because men hurt. So you go into that relationship with your suit of armour on. And your weapons. And he's gorgeous, and he's loving you, but you're like, oh God, he's gonna hurt me, he's gonna hurt me. And he can't get in. He can't get in. He can't even see you. Maybe a little bit through those, what are they called? Those visors or whatever. So he goes and looks elsewhere, because he can't find you. And he's desperate. Elsewhere. Oh look! I proved it! Men hurt. He just hurt me. He just went off with somebody else. That's how you can create a reality from your own belief. And I am living proof of that. So I'm shedding that one. And there's a whole host more. I won't stay too long on the subject. It's a big subject. The freeing beliefs are the good bit, aren't they? Like the one I just said, I believe that all food is good for me because I'm just loving it. If I don't like it, then I won't eat it yet, but it's just a question of taste. It's not sort of like a grip me and manage my life, yeah? And the one deeply empowering belief that I told you earlier, I let it slip too soon, but I just couldn't hold back. I believe in myself. I believe in my power. I believe in my glory. I believe that there's so much more available to me, for me, and I'm going for it. I've opened the doors. When you go there, or you go there, you open the doors to so much freedom, to so much joy, to so much glory. So, out go the limiting beliefs. All right. Okay, I need my tech support now for this bit. And I'm going to take a pew, just for a short while. Be careful of other people's beliefs. We are all like sponges, you know. We from a tiny age this is, we telepathically absorb other people's beliefs, even if they're not uttered, spoken. We will absorb them. But now we're going to talk about a new aspect of, a new part of the map that we can also pay attention to, that can help us get a better sense of ourselves, yeah, and bring us back to me, to you. Yeah? So that's where we're still headed. Does anybody feel a little bit closer? I mean, I know that you're taking notes today, and actually the work has to be done bit by bit in your own time. But does anybody feel like they have an idea of how they might actually work on themselves if there is work that needs to be done to get closer to the self?
I like the word you use, retuning yourself, realigning yourself, because I think we're all born pure and probably in there, and over time we've just lost it.
Absolutely, we kind of forgot, like, with our belief systems as well, with everything, our focus being out there all the time, trying to fix things outside of ourselves. I'm a classic, blaming everybody for our circumstances. I've been angry at my dad, and my husband, and my daughter, bloody everybody. But really, the root cause of my anger was I wasn't satisfied with what I was living, and I was blaming others until that day when I decided that actually I am my own creator. I am making this happen, And then I still went on being angry for a good while, actually, but but it's going. I'm not angry at my dad anymore. I'm not angry with him anymore. Actually, on the contrary, he's been supporting me all the way, but I never kind of got that. Because I was blinkered, I was blind for a long, long time. I think that I got greater vision now. I got better vision now, definitely. So yes, so we've done the intention and the outcome. We've targeted, we've got the fire burning in our bellies for the desire. The beliefs, we've looked at them, I've given you an idea of what you can do, but there's work to be done, most likely. And I love this one. I love this one because I was asked not long ago by a beautiful Annie in the pink t-shirt who facilitates the Origins of Wisdom workshops, which are hugely empowering. I recommend them highly. And I had a big breakthrough here when you asked us all in the workshop what integrity is. And I've never actually thought about it. Does anybody want to give me, I'm going to do the same as you, Annie, I'm going to ask the question, what is integrity? Would anybody like to give me the version? Because I stood up that day, Annie, and I gave my version. I thought, oh my God, that's what it is. Ugh. And then I realized that actually I wasn't of integrity and there was work to be done. So would anybody like to share their version on integrity?
Where your lifestyle matches your beliefs.
Where your lifestyle matches your beliefs? Yes, yes. And more, I think. Integrity, for me, is when I'm in absolute alignment with myself. Remember I said that, Annie? And I didn't even know. So I think something sort of just jumped up inside me and said those words, and then suddenly I was able to sort of reflect on it. Oh my God, that's actually kind of like right on the button there. But I realized that I wasn't in alignment with myself in many areas of my life, and in particular in following through on my desires. Because there is an area, there is a stage that we get to where you do have to follow through. You can't just sort of sit there and keep wanting, you know. So I had to look at that very closely and act upon my desires. I spent many years not in integrity. And it's actually, I don't want to sound too dismal, but it can be quite a dangerous place to be. When you are not of integrity with yourself, when you are not in alignment with yourself, you can actually, quite literally, lose a sense of yourself, a sense of your own identity. And I had an identity crisis in my 20s. When I was living the life, supposedly, in Paris. On the surface, it all looked great, and I was wearing my designer clothes, and I had lots of gorgeous friends. But remember that void that I told you about? It was already there. Yeah. And something wasn't in alignment. Something was not right. You know. And looking back, I think I realized that, you know, I've spent so many years of my life saying yes when I meant no, and no when I meant yes. Choosing what I thought was right for me, but actually was right for somebody else. You know, choosing actually a lot of the time what my parents thought was right for me, and they did it out of love. I have no blame anymore, thank God. Poor things, if you're watching. No blame anymore, because they did it out of love. But I did get caught up in what they wanted for me. I wasn't clear on my desires. I wasn't clear on what I wanted, because I had, you know, very little sense of self, and so a lot of stuff could get in. It's almost like when you don't have a sense of self, you have very flimsy boundaries, energetic boundaries, and a lot of stuff can get in. So, being of integrity is absolutely vital, because I mean, when it gets really bad, I would actually say that some of the root causes of bipolarity and schizophrenia have integrity or lack of integrity as their cause. Yeah, because you actually, neurologically speaking, confuse yourself. It is literally neurological. It's like crossed wires, literally. Yeah, that's where it comes from. Crossed wires. It's like, ugh. I had no idea. I had no sense of self. And I had to go rushing back home-ish to London. London wasn't really my home, but it was the nearest I could think of to get home. And then I started therapy. So integrity, I chose this picture. It's a little bit pixely, but it just sums up. You know, if you're not in alignment with yourself, it's like pieces of the puzzle are missing. Yeah? And you have to put it all back together so it can be integral. Yeah? So it can be whole again. Yeah? And when you're whole again, you have everything you need on board. Do what you want to do to create what you want to create, to attract into a life that you want to have in your life. So the first thing is, notice, you know, yourself. And it's something that I never did. My focus was right out there all the time. And it was a lot about image for me in those days. Oh, what do I look like? You know, I'm a bit better now, you know, I think we're 40s, you know, 40-something helps to sort of be less busy about your image. But my image was, you know, crucial. What did I look like in the eyes of others? But it never occurred to me, you know, what do I look like in my own eyes, through my own eyes? How do I see myself? I couldn't even see myself because my choices were not in alignment with who I am, because I didn't even know who I was, and it just compounds itself. And acknowledge yourself. These sound obvious, but how often do we do it? You know, I say to myself, and I know you do, Sophia, as well, and you've had some lovely breakthroughs, you know, in front of the mirror. Oh, yes, you're so cool. Because it's a bit difficult to go out there and go, oh, I'm awesome. I think we should, actually, changing that. That's not arrogance. That's something else. And be true to who you are. If you don't want to go out for dinner with that person, sorry. I keep making this mistake, and I'm still not quite of absolute integrity. I'm still not quite in absolute alignment with myself. Because recently, we met a man at a Chinese New Year gathering. And I gave him my number. Because we had really great banter. I thought, oh, he's cool. It was really creative and really fun. And he said, oh, can I have your number? Oh, yeah, sure, you know. I regretted it. Almost seconds after giving it to him. And I didn't know how to say, oh, can you just delete that? And he's been bloody calling me. He's been calling me and sending me, not calling me, he's been sending me messages. And I don't feel comfortable with it. But because I made a choice that was out of integrity with myself, I didn't allow myself a little bit of time to think, to pause, to go, well, do I really want to? Yeah? Give yourselves time to think and to be true to who you are and to make that choice, that correct choice, because you avoid getting yourself into pickles like I just got myself into. And now I'm having to sort of like, go, what do I do with this person? Block, feels horrible. So I'm in a bit of a pickle there. Yeah, it's just one example of so many options we have and moments that we have in our lives of just pause to think before you make the choice. Yeah. And for some it's natural, for some, you know, it takes a little bit of thinking, noticing yourself. Yeah. And this was the classic area where I was not of integrity, you know, just simple things like saying to my husband, oh, we should go on dates, babe, we should go on dates. A year later, yeah, we should go on dates, we should go on dates, we should go to the cinema. Finally, after the Origins of Wisdom workshop, we went on dates, and we went to the cinema, and it felt really good. It's like, oh my God, we're man and wife again. We're man and woman again, not sort of like daddy and mummy, you know. Because you can get a bit, you know. So following through is part of integrity, you know. You can't just sit with your desire, even if your desire is in alignment with who you are. And your intention is in alignment with who you are. But if you're not following through, then you've lost that piece of the puzzle. So, yeah, keep that puzzle, keep all those pieces nice and neat together. And here comes another insight. When was the last time you were in full integrity with yourself? It feels good. I think I finally came to a place where it's not that I care less what other people think of me. I will always care what other people think of me. But I'm better within myself now, so I'm a bit more detached from that. And so I don't try so hard. I'm more able to just be. And that's a really good place to be. And it comes with integrity, you know? And it's a very empowering place to be. Integrity, and it gives you clarity of vision, and that's something I didn't have, but I'm getting much clearer now. So, okay. All right. So there's one final piece of the pie. We're not quite at the end yet, because then it gets sort of like special. Who feels a little bit closer to themselves? A little bit like they've got a bit of a roadmap, some direction, some tools to work with, to feel more empowered. We ain't finished yet. So we've done that bit. We've got our beliefs all sorted. No, not really. We're getting there. We are of integrity. I've got to really watch out when another chap like that chap rocks up in my life and have the courage to say, actually, I don't really want to give you my number. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Nothing personal about you, just all about me. And be okay with that. Because now I don't know what to do with this number. And here comes the bit where we have to actually get up off our stools and our chairs, not literally now, but in life. And I hated this bit. My dad spent his life going, come on Kitty, get up and git, which is a horrible expression. I was like, oh God. But it's because he kind of like saw it in me. I think he saw it in me that I was like sort of like trying to avoid the doing bit, but you can't. So this is a good question to ask ourselves, you know. Now that we know what our desires are, now that we have a clear image in our minds of what the outcome might look like and how we can fulfill those desires and we can target it with our intention and our willpower. Yeah. Now that we've cleared away beliefs, beliefs are like plaques of metal that keep you enclosed and imprisoned, blind and deaf. You shed that. It's like, oh God, I can move again. I'm kind of freer now. And now that we're of integrity, I'm feeling more at home in my body. I'm feeling more at home with myself. I'm feeling like I'm kind of like getting to know myself a bit better now. I'm getting clearer. I'm getting a good idea of who Rosalind is or who I am. Now what do I need to do? I've avoided taking action for years, but I stand here today taking action. You are witnessing me taking action that I have run away from for a long time. But I'm still 14, I've still got lots of time to. I'm still young.
You still have 70 years to go.
70? That makes you what, 130 when I'm done?
120.
Huh?
At least 120.
Alright, I'm there. Done. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Any acton folk around? Recognize a photo? I found it on internet actually, and I just thought, oh, I got to take it. This is actually a photo from my daughter's school. I just found it randomly. I thought, I'm totally choosing that. Yeah. Time for action. But you can take a breath. Because I love how Neil Donald Walsh puts this. The man. God, he looks like God actually. He really does, tall with white hair and a long white beard. I love him. But he says, you know, we do this, we do the Volvo, we do the house, and we do the 2 dogs, and we do the 9-to-5 job, and we do this, we do that, and what do we end up with? A whole pile of doo-doo. I'm quoting, more or less quoting. That's what he says, and it's totally that. So my first point, I was like, what am I going to say about action? My God, you know, I have slowed down so much. To the point where, even though we haven't got much money in the bank, darling, I can say that truth breeds abundance.
True reason.
I was offered jobs teaching English, but I just could not go out and do it because it was no longer of integrity to who I am. And even though I could earn, for me it was quite nice money, 800 ringgit in one day for 4 lessons or something, teaching little kids. It was not exactly rocket science. I could not get myself to that place because it was just not in alignment with who I was. I couldn't take that action. So it was almost by force that I ended up staying at home and reading The Nature of Personal Reality and reading all these books, and I decided constructively that actually that's what I'd do. I'd just like stay home and just work on myself. I always say, you know, my middle name is personal development, and it has been for so many years. Yeah. So I slowed down a lot, and I'm trying to get my husband to say that. You slowed down quite a lot as well, which is really cool. So I see a lot more of my husband too, which is really cool. But it gives you time to obviously think and to notice. Remember we said notice yourself, yeah. And just take a step back of it all, and you know, get a different angle on it all. You know, go to the park and just slow down. Clear out the doo-doo, you know. So slow down it speaks for itself, really. set goals. I hate setting goals. I've always been so crap at setting goals. But I realized recently that they are incredibly helpful. I avoided setting goals because I thought, well, if I set goals, then, I'll set goals for March, and then March will come by, and then it'll be, June, I won't have done it. I'll aim to get it done by August, and August will go by. So I've been really bad about setting goals, but I met somebody back in, it was about October or November, who's a life coach. And I was saying to her, how do I get my soul readings, I give soul readings, how do I get my soul readings off the ground? How do I get my career sort of like bubbling away and earning money from it and everything? And she said, well, what do you want from it? And I said, I need to feel more confident about my soul readings because they're wild. And she said, well, what would it take for you to feel confident? And I said, well, I need to do a lot more soul readings. How many? 20, 25. By when? I was like, oh! December. Ah! No, she said 2 weeks. I said, no, December. End of December. And so she was setting goals for me. She actually did it for me. I was like, okay. And I did pretty much between 20 and 25 soul readings, or around 20 soul readings by that date. And I was soaring with confidence, and it really worked. And accepting to do this talk has been a very useful goal because there was a set date, and I was no backing out after I said yes. I was like, oh my God, I got to do this, So I had a goal that somebody set for me. So if you're no good at setting goals, get somebody else to do it, or commit to a date and
Let me know
really
when you
commit.
can do a talk.
Yes, exactly. Get somebody to hook you into a specific event or something because it actually helps. Because I may be better at it now, but I haven't had a go yet. So. But yeah, have a go. And take steps. Well, I hate it when people say to me, take steps, and you may be expecting me to say, well, take baby steps, but I ain't going to say anything like that. I've taken a huge leap to be here today, and I know it sounds a bit like, sort of, a bit silly for a woman of my caliber, to be so frightened of doing something like this, but I was petrified. I haven't been able to eat properly for a month since I accepted to do this talk. I've had to have just little helpings of things. Have you seen me eat? I had a bit of watermelon, and I'm still, I will unknot tonight. I'll have that bottle of whiskey though. But I was petrified. And what I've done is I've taken myself right out of my comfort zone. Huge leap for me, right into that abyss. When I was doing this presentation, I had to think back to the times when I've done that. I stepped out of my comfort zone, leaving Paris and going back to London, when all I could really master was staying at home and smoking joints to escape my fear and my anguish, until my brother said, well, why don't you just go and do an evening course or something, and you might make some friends. Oh God, But I pushed myself to do it, and I found a course called Confidence Through Drama. It was all I could manage at the time. And when I turned up, most of them there had less confidence than I did, the truth. And the great gifts that came from that were somebody who became my best friend, a man called David, who then became my partner for 8 years. And through him, I met my healer, and I started therapy on myself. And through the Confidence Through Drama class, I developed my drama training, and I went to another school in London and did drama there, and then I ended up teaching drama for children. The gifts that come when you step out of your comfort zone are enormous and unlimited. At the age of 39, I stepped out of my comfort zone when my relationship with David went pear-shaped. Long story. And I thought, oh my God, I need to just get out of here. I'm going to fly alone. And I just sort of closed my eyes and sort of put my finger on a world map and ended up in Ho Chi Minh City. And when I circled Ho Chi Minh City, I looked down and I thought, Christ, what have I done? It looks like a shanty town. I mean, it may have changed. Probably now skyscrapers now, but then it was like a shanty town, and I was scared out of my wits. And I was teaching. I got a job teaching there, and they put me in this hotel in the middle of sort of like a really Vietnamese part of Ho Chi Minh City. I wasn't with the backpackers downtown. I was like near the school, the school had lots of outlets. Cockroaches in the room. There were no Caucasians. I was the only Caucasian in this sea of, Vietnamese. Anyway, a few months later, I met my husband. And a few months later, we were pregnant. And on purpose, we planned it, we made her. It was the first time in my life that I knew so clearly what I wanted. Because I had stepped out of my comfort zone and I was in a new place where I could just be me. And all the choices I was taking were for me, about me, with me, for me. And the rest is history. So there is a lot of magic. There are great gifts, and I invite you all to just take that leap, like I did today. Take that leap. And you know, I'll be eating tonight. I haven't lost that from not eating last month, but it pays. It really pays to step out of your comfort zone. So I'm excited about what's in store for me next. You know, more talks, I hope. And try something new. Like in Vietnam, I was just like, I didn't know a soul. I didn't know anybody. So I could just be myself. You know, do something different. Do something different. Because knowing yourself in a new environment, you start to get to know new dimensions of who you are. You know, and that's good. That's renewal. That's renewed energy. Sophia, you gave me this one. Seize the moment. Seize the moment. So when you are in alignment with yourself, and you've got an idea about something you want to do, and you're feeling frightened, but you're also feeling excited about it, get on the phone and make that commitment, like you did the other day with Graham for the teaching. Yeah. Like I did when I accepted to do this talk. You know, I thought, oh, maybe I can talk about that. I'll send her a message. Yeah, awesome. Shoot. Yeah. So seize the moment. Stay in that moment of excitement, because if you let it slide, the following day you might be in that horrible place of like, oh God, I'm not sure if I can do it. And you might never do it. So don't let it slip. The moment of now is your point of power. Seize it. I love this one. I love this one because I've done this one very thoroughly recently. With my daughter's schooling. I had no idea where to send her to school, and I was at a total panic about it, because for me her education is hugely important. And I looked everywhere for schooling. We can't afford the international schools, and so I was like left with a sort of a small choice of schools, and none of them felt right. And I was like leaving the country. I was going back to England to go to a school near where my parents live, and live with my parents, and leaving you behind. Sorry, darling, but that's what went through my head. I was in such a panic. I called the Green School in Bali. It was like, I want my daughter to go to this school. And then when they told me the fees, I was like, okay, And I was like, I got myself into such a tiz about it that I was exhausted. And I ended up, through exhaustion, I can't do this anymore. I give up. There's better ways to surrender, by the way, but I took myself to that point. And when I surrendered, a week or 2 weeks later, beautiful Jerry turns up with a beautiful gift, talking about the school that offers child and education. I'm like, oh my God. And when she described the school, it's like I had actually planned to do a school a long time ago in my mind, a desire that I haven't followed through on. And I just thought, somebody's done it for me. Somebody's created this for me. I've manifested this. She's there now. She's been there for, what is it? 6 sprints. This Karine is her October? Yeah, since October. And she's loving it. So for me, surrender is a huge one. If you could just trust, like we said earlier in the intention bit, trust that it's gonna happen. And really know the magic. Because there's so much magic there, there's so much. Ask and you shall get. That's what I've been doing, preparing this presentation. Because when I said yes to Joey, I'll talk about how to attract what you want into your life. I'm like, well, how do you attract what you want into your life? I'm like, oh my God. And I have been asking myself every day, give it to me. Give me more. I want more. I want answers to this question, and that question, and that, and that, and that. Every single time I got it. And last night I went to bed feeling very scared, because it's like, oh my God, it's tomorrow. And I asked my higher self again, I said, give me more. Give me more. I need something even bigger than this. And I had a horrible nightmare last night. It was like my worst fear. Actually, I lived my worst fear in my nightmare. And I woke up and I was in tears this morning. And I understood why I have felt so frightened of doing what I need to do in my life, of living the life that I want to live, of attracting what I want to my life, why I've felt so frightened of just turning up for myself. And I'll come back to this later. Give and you shall receive. Again, this is inspired by Neil Donald Walsh, but there is something neurological about this. Even if you don't have what you want, be it money or a relationship or a sense of power, there is always something to give, isn't there? And when you give, your mind believes that you have it to give. So you go from a place of wanting to a place of having. A friend of mine came knocking on my door about 4 years ago. A neighbour, at a time when we had no money in the account. I mean no money, seriously no money. And she said, "Oh, Rosalind, can I borrow some money?" Oh, shit, she's asking me. My wallet. She said, "I need 30 ringgit to get my daughter to ballet school this afternoon, because I haven't paid for this particular lesson." And I thought, hang on, 30 ringgit, I've probably got that in my wallet, I'm going to have a look. And I had 30 ringgit, and I gave it to her. And I was a bit shaky when I did it. You are sometimes out of your comfort zone when you give what you believe you don't have to give. But after she left, and I sort of assimilated what I'd done, I felt really good about myself. I felt so abundant. I thought, God, here am I, with no money in my account, sort of like maybe 35 ringgit in my wallet, whatever it was, but I could still give. And it gave me that feeling of, I have it to give, you know. And I didn't make millions afterwards, but I felt my abundance. Yeah, I felt my abundance, and that's where it starts to come in. Yeah. So, giving when you feel you've got nothing to give, don't be fooled by that. Allow yourself to rewire so that you can actually feel that you have got it to give, because you have got it to give. They sound very biblical. Ask and you shall get. Give and you shall receive. And they probably are biblical. You've read the Bible, I haven't, I'm terrible at that sort of thing. Neil Donald Walsh is the nearest I get to Bibles. But it probably does say something like that, yeah. And it's not about being good and everything. It's about knowing that we have it all. Yeah. And last but not least, this is a really important one. All the work I've taken you through so far, we've come to the end of the pie. All the work so far doesn't have to be some, oh God, plod on, you know, homework, I don't feel like it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Play with it. And go play. Because the inner childness is the one that wants. Our children are always saying, Mommy can I have this, Daddy can I have that. The children want, don't they? They are the most expressive people on the planet for wanting, aren't they? So are our inner children. We all have an inner child. It's the inner child that wants. First and foremost, it wants to play. So don't get miserable like I've done on so many occasions, you know, sort of stay home and not play and not accept an invitation to go out with my girlfriends or whatever because I felt like terrible company or whatever. Play. Play. And maybe, if you're going to be of integrity, go out and play and go, you know what, I don't feel like I'm good company today. And they'll just put their arm around you probably and you'll feel a little bit better. So allow yourself to be true to yourself and express your truth instead of hiding it away, because they'll pick up on it anyway. So then you can really play more light-hearted. Right. Put your heart and soul into everything you do, like I've put my heart and soul into this presentation. And I know I'm keeping you here quite a long time. But I didn't know where to stop. But I've kind of got to a place where I can stop more or less. Because there's so much to say, but put your heart and soul into everything you did, and you'll feel the reward. So you've done it, we've done it, yeah? You've done it, you've done it! Where does this bring you to? ain't been myself for way too long. And I felt it hanging at the workshop. I didn't know what I was feeling that day when I was on the floor crying my eyes out and knew beautiful sister were there to help me. I didn't know what was going on. I do now. I was crying out and I was saying, where am I? Where am I? Where have I gone? Where am I? Because I just couldn't find me. Only back in, what was it, October? Yeah. I found me.
Yay!
And that's my roadmap. That is the roadmap for me. Yours may be similar, it may be different, but if you don't feel like you've found me, make a roadmap. Go get it. It brings you to you in your truth. To you in alignment with yourself. That's such a beautiful place to be. Cosmic stuff, as you put it, Sophia, happens, you know. I have had, actually, preparing the presentation, I had the craziest coincidences. I had my name popping up in places again, yeah, which I've had before. You know, when you come into alignment, you see synchronicity. Synchronicity really starts to happen. For me, that's my guidelines. It really is quite magical. It really is. And I'm like, God, is this really? And you start to sort of like love life all over again. It starts to change your perspective. It brings you to you. Magnetic. Our magnets are right in there. They're like really, really magnetized. And not only that, they're pointing in the right direction. Yeah. And irresistibly, and I say irresistibly on purpose because there's no resistance in the way. There's no more resistance when you are completely there with yourself, at home. And when you're home, you're fully present, you have clarity, you have the vision that I've longed for, and you're in power. I won't go into that, but I had a whopping great synchronicity and download from my soul with the DNA, because what happens is when you come back into yourself, Terry put this here, I love it. It's going to be my logo. My business cards are somewhere, please take them, but they're missing a whopping great logo, which has something to do with that, but the guy couldn't do it. But basically, when you come into alignment with yourself, just a quick little snippet of, what do they call it? Bio something or other. Biomedicine or something. Biomedicine. It activates your DNA. Fully. Yeah. It really does change you neurologically on a very, very deep, fine level. And you can feel it when you start to shake with fear or shake with excitement. That's it pouring through. And when I recognize that, well, actually, I can stand up and tremble because I know what's going on. It's okay, I can tremble on because it's just beginning to pour through me. And it brings you to you in your conscious creator, ready to fulfill your deepest desires. You're home. And you're clear. You know what you want. And you're strong. And you know how to go get it. It brings us to the real you. And there's one more snippet. Just to stir you up a little bit more. You know, what do they say about butterflies? Is it that butterflies don't know their own beauty or something because they can't see their wings? But I'm sure they do. But a lot of, I mean, I didn't know my own beauty, you know, because I was separated, yeah, consciously separated. Be you to the full, beautiful. I made that one up. Awesome. Yeah. It starts to come to you. Really starts to pour through the wisdom. You know, we all have these incredible pools of knowledge and wisdom. When you are there, when you're home, it's effortless. It just pours through. It's like, oh my God, this is cool. You know, it's like, did I say that? Did I do that? Yes. You know, it's so cool. It's so cool. So this is a big question, and this is where I get to my crux. This is where the message is. What have we just done? With all the work that we've just done in my little roadmap to back to you. What is it? What have we been doing? Peeling away the layers, peeling away what doesn't belong to us. Working on being of integrity. Taking that action that we really, really need to take. And keeping it up. You know, I can't just sit back on my laurels after today and go, well, I will tonight. Totally watching a movie tonight with a bottle of whiskey. But, you know, I've got to keep going. Yeah? But what have I been doing? What have I done? Here's a clue. What can you see? We've plucked out the weeds. Here's an analogy for your beautiful origins of wisdom. It's called seeds. We've plucked out the weeds, planted new seeds. We've filled up our watering cans with a big dose of
Distilled water.
Sophia's into distilled water. Don't distract me, lady. We filled our watering cans up with love. What we just did, that roadmap, is the biggest act of self-love I've ever done. I have done my absolute best to give myself what I needed most, my own love. It doesn't really matter what I do, but I have to give myself what I need. I have to do whatever it takes, clearing out the beliefs, taking action, making sure I have the willpower, pushing myself. And this is helping my garden grow now. My flowers are coming up, got some buds going on. I was told once by my beautiful healer in London and her spirit guide that I was the gardener. And I said, I don't want to be the gardener, I want to be the flowers. As I was in drama in those, as I was teaching drama and doing drama, and I'm like, I want to be on stage, I want to be the centre of attention, you know. And she said to me that the flowers can't be the flowers without the gardener. So I stand before you today as the gardener. Yeah, she told me that when I was about 34. So an act of self-love brings you hope. Whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. We are doing it all the time. Not all the time, that's not true. We do perform acts of self-love. But I am inviting you to bring consciousness to it. To bring awareness to those choices that you make. To love yourself. And to step out of your comfort zone. Because those are the greatest acts of all, when you just go for gold, no matter how frightened you are. And there are the gifts. Remember the gifts I told you about stepping out of my comfort zone? I'm expecting great gifts, by the way, after this. So there you have it. And when you love yourself, I love this picture because it's almost like everything's on board, you know. Your heart opens, you just saw it, yeah? Your heart opens. When your heart opens, you can see with a vision from your heart, you can see from your heart. Your son gave me this. Terry's son is special needs, and he wrote me a message once. He said, he calls me Kitty still. He said, Kitty, I went blind. And I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. And I wrote back and I said, it's okay, Omar. His name is Omar. It's okay. You can see with your heart. That is where the vision is. That is where our glory is. So this work, for those of you who are not yet attracting what you need into your life and who are not experiencing the glory of the beautiful things that you already have in your life, I invite you to do a little bit of clearing, a little bit of aligning, taking some action, loving yourselves. I invite you to love yourselves consciously and more and more and more again. And then the miracles start to happen. That's when you start to get real magic and things start to flow because the soul, and this is who I am, the soul pulls through. This is how you get a direct connection to your soul. You can have all the therapy in the world, and bless my beautiful therapist, it worked, it helped me a lot. But when you love yourself, when you take those great acts of self-love, you will open the window to your soul. And you can act from your soul. And that's when it gets really exciting. And I'm on the cusp of it. I'm on the cusp of it. And you know how everybody talks about oneness. I didn't even really know what it meant. But I got some wisdom coming through. Oneness will not occur until you have your own self-love on board. And it takes some doing. But that is oneness. When you are home. And there are the magic and the miracles. Then it gets easy and effortless. And you start to fall in love with life again. And you realize that maybe you already have what you want in your life. You just weren't seeing clearly because your beliefs were in your way. Yeah. Or you didn't have a clear intention. Or you weren't in alignment with yourself. Or maybe you have the clarity to start going and get it and recognizing it when it pops up. The positives become more positive. And the negatives become less negative when your soul is on board. And this is where I'm headed. And I ain't stopping at nothing. And I invite you to come with me because it's time now for all of us on this planet to know ourselves in greater glory. It's a big thing, but it's a great thing and it's fun. And the beauty of it all, I love this bit, is that all we have to do is fulfill our deepest desires, give ourselves what we want. That's all we have to do. But you can't go with this. Oh, I want this one, I'm going to give it to myself. With love. When you love yourself, I love this image. I had to have it in here. I had to show you. Reconnect to your soul, and you become the conscious creator of your life. You know the Leonardo da Vinci hand of God with Adam? It's actually from that. So it is about creating. And I leave you to read this on your own. I need a drink. When you see with the eyes of your soul, you will know that you put those waves there. You put every single aspect of your life into your life for one sole purpose, and that is to know yourself and to know the love of your soul and to love yourself, even in the most challenging experiences. In the hardest core experiences, they are there for you to then come back, away from separation, into your own place of oneness. This is what came through as I prepared this presentation. I started to get the clarity that I needed to empower myself, to know that I put those waves there. The law of attraction is your soul calling you home, calling you back to yourself. For you to experience freedom, joy, abundance, and fulfillment. This is your birthright. This is your very nature. Your pathway is a path of self-love. That is the soul's path too. That's what the soul wants. Your desires are your soul's needs. That's how I put it. Your life is your soul path, so make it what you want. And reclaim the magic your inner child knows is real. I was disappointed because I couldn't find the magic. It's back. Make your wildest, grandest dreams come true. Yeah. My healer in London, she said to me, "What do you want, Rosalind? What do you want? The sky's the limit." And I'm like, "Oh God, what do I want?" I know what I want. So I'm taking the plunge. I just took the plunge, actually. Yay! which if you feel like getting up and dancing to, because I dance to this song. And that's it, beautiful souls, I love you.